So very frustrating. And you didn't see this, but I was hitting myself with the YouTube ban hammer. Yeah, so Shout Factory owns or has domain over the Mystery Science Theater broadcasts, and so they assert copyright control on something that is solidly in the public domain. And I'm not trying to, take away from the value of what they have and the fact that they are not showing the entire film and it's all has commentary on it. But come on, man, like give me a break. I mean, Coily is bad enough, but then YouTube comes in and all right. Well, we're just gonna continue rolling with our fever theme. This is Banana Fever. Enjoy.
Once upon a time, in one of the great tropical forests that sprawled across the equator, there lived a monkey called Max. Max had a passion for bananas, and every morning, with great gusto and delight, he would eat all the ripe, juicy bananas he had picked the night before. And afterward, totally content, Max would scamper off to play with his friends. One morning, Max found his friends in a state of great excitement.
The vine was moving by itself. I've never seen anything like it.
And a bunch of bananas picked themselves and floated off. Can you imagine that?
I can vouch for them both. I saw it too. I couldn't believe my eyes.
You guys must have been dreaming.
And the same day, he found a bunch of bananas so ripe and lovely that he never gave the slightest thought to what his friends had told him that morning. The next morning, Max woke up earlier than usual and slipped down the tree to his bunch of bananas. But instead of a bunch, the bananas were spread out in a line, and some of them were gone.
I don't understand it. This has never happened before. I'll bet my pals think they're pretty clever. They must have taken those bananas.
Somehow, breakfast just wasn't the same, and Max was so annoyed by his friend's cruel joke that he decided to go and straighten things out. But his friends denied taking any of the bananas, which made Max even angrier, and he went off muttering and spluttering. That evening, his anger cooled somewhat when he found 15 almost perfect bananas.
15 bananas. 15 lovely bananas.
But the next morning, it had happened again. This time, the bananas were spread out in 2 rows of 5, or 10 bananas in all. Max had 15 bananas, and someone had taken 5 of them. The mere thought of this made him purple with rage. And when he found his friends, he was too angry to speak. With great effort, they convinced Max that none of them had taken his bananas. That night, as Max headed for home with a new bunch of 12 bananas,
We saw it again.
Saw what?
The swinging vine with no one on it. It was very scary.
Max wasn't entirely convinced, but he nonetheless decided to stay awake and guard over his bananas. He waited and waited. And then, when night was at its darkest, the bananas started to move by themselves. they moved into 3 rows of 4 bananas each, and then they moved again into 2 rows of 6 bananas each. Max stood aghast as one row of 6 bananas rose up into the air and floated away.
Stop! Come back with my bananas!
The next morning, a humbled Max told his friends what had happened.
Whatever it is, it's invisible. But it must be stopped, nonetheless.
I'll stand guard with you tonight, Max. We'll try to catch the thief.
That afternoon, they picked 9 delicious bananas. That night, after having placed the bananas on the ground near his tree, Max pretended to sleep, and the giraffe did her best to hide in some bushes nearby. Shortly after midnight, the bananas began to move. They moved into 3 rows of 3 bananas each. Then one whole row rose up and floated away.
Grab it! This time, let's use a trap.
So Max and his friends spent the day digging a deep hole and covering it with large leaves. Then Max carefully placed 9 bananas on the leaves, for by this time his passion for bananas had turned into grim determination to catch the banana thief. That night, Max and the giraffe waited once more, but they were so tired from building the trap that they soon dozed off. Whatever it was, the invisible thief was trapped. So Max told the giraffe to stick his head into the hole and feel around.
Help! It's got me!
Hey! It's crawling up my neck!
The invisible thief had gotten away with 3 of Max's 9 bananas again. The following day, the alligator called them all together.
I have a feeling that we're not going to capture this invisible thief, but we can prevent him from stealing as many bananas as he has been.
But how?
Most thieves do things in a certain way. Let's review the thefts and see if there's a pattern to them.
Let's see, the night I brought home 15 bananas, he took 5 of them. And then the next time I brought home 12 bananas, he took 6 of them. And both times that I had 9 bananas, he took 3 of them. What?
Well, 5 divides 15 evenly, 6 divides 12 evenly, and 3 divides 9 evenly.
What do you mean, divides evenly?
The alligator explained that if you have 15 bananas, you can split them into groups of 5, and you'll have none left over. And if you have 12 bananas, you can split them into groups of 6 and have none left over. And, continued the alligator, if you have 9 bananas, you can split them into groups of 3 and have none left over.
I think I figured out his pattern. When I had 12 bananas, he first put them into groups of 4, but then changed them into groups of 6. 4 divides 12 evenly, and 6 also divides 12 evenly. So he took 6, which is the larger divisor. That's his pattern. He always takes the larger divisor.
Well, how come he didn't take all 12 bananas? 12 is the largest divisor of 12.
Because he never takes all the bananas. That's part of his pattern.
Isn't there a number of bananas I could gather where he'd take nothing?
I'm not sure.
Well, if he takes only 3 bananas when I have 9, what about 10?
But they found that 5 divides 10 evenly. So 10 wasn't a good number, since the thief would take 5. Then they tried 11 bananas. 11 could not be divided into groups of 2 evenly, and it can't be divided into groups of 3 evenly, nor groups of 4, nor 5, nor 6, nor 7, nor 8, nor 9, nor 10. Only 11 worked. So Max went out and collected 11 bananas. And that night he waited and watched, and sure enough, the bananas began to move. First they moved into a shape like this, and then a shape like this, and finally they moved into a shape like this. Max held his breath. He was sure the thief was going to take them all. But just as the alligator had predicted, the thief didn't take all the bananas, and 1 is the only other divisor that can be divided into 11 with no remainder. He had stuck to his pattern.
Oh, well, I guess I can afford to lose 1 banana from the bunch.
Several weeks later, Max's cousin Alvin came to visit. After a delicious dinner, Alvin laid back and groaned with satisfaction.
That's the first full meal I've had in weeks.
And why is that?
Because someone has been taking most of my coconuts.
I guess 1 banana wasn't enough for him.
For who?
Have another banana, and I'll tell you all about it.
They try so hard. They try really hard to make that interesting. And I'll say, of all the films in that series that are animated, my favorite is still Weird Number. Weird Number. It also involves a theft, and it's about fractions. And I do have a soft spot for that, but the rest of them, they try. All right. Who's got a uranium fever? I hope I don't.
Uranium is where you find it. In our atomic age, uranium is far more precious than gold. And I'd caught uranium fever. Prospecting for this elusive treasure is hard, lonely work and dangerous. It's made bearable only by constant hope. Hope that one day your Geiger counter will record your big strike. I'm Raymond Taylor, real estate man. I was covering plenty of real estate these days. This could be it. It was, but someone else's claim. Sometimes you'd think the whole country was staked. I was part of the great uranium stampede in the Colorado Plateau, where Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona meet in the famous Four Corners area. It's desolate, broken country, this vast wasteland that holds the sinister secrets of the atom, valueless till now. But today, we prospectors are opening it up. A land never completely explored. Electronic instruments to detect invisible radiations have replaced the pick and shovel and the gold pan. Under scientific assault, the plateau is gradually revealing its rich. Ever stand on a fortune in uranium? These men are. Anyone might find uranium. Newcomer or descendant of the original property owners. Even old-timers have the fever. He may come back in a Cadillac. A man with uranium fever wouldn't think of driving anywhere without having his Geiger counter turned on. It looks like this man's found something. It's uranium, all right, but it's second-hand. Where man can't drive or take a horse or burro or even walk, he prospects by air not only man, she uses a scintillator, even more sensitive and of greater range than the familiar Geiger counter. Radiation detectors vary in power and in price. You can spend $50 or as much as $5,000. Scintillators can also be used from small planes to detect radiation, no matter what the season. Uranium prospecting is a full-time job. For me, it began about a year ago. A friend phoned he'd found uranium and offered to cut me in. I met him at House Rock Valley. It was all very hush-hush. My friend was giving me first chance to stake adjoining claims before the news got out and the usual stampede started. I was really getting in on a good thing. Yet somehow I couldn't help wondering whether I was becoming involved in just another uranium stock promotion deal. The place seemed hot enough. The next day, I staked my first claim. What could I lose at $1 filing fee? I started back home. I didn't get there. Something had happened to me. This was too big and too exciting to leave. I didn't know it then, but I had uranium fever. My first stop was Moab, Utah, uranium capital of America. Only yesterday, a quiet Mormon village. Today, a boom town. Here, everybody talked uranium. Wild talk, mostly. Especially if they hadn't found any yet. A town of men in hope and women in furs. And everybody in stock deals. Big deals. I soon learned the value of my unproved claims. He had all you wanted at $35 apiece. There's not as much actual claim jumping as in the old hoopla and hard rock days, but there is some disagreement over who was there first. It's usually a case of not filing right that leaves the situation open to argument. Occasionally, things get serious. A fight can be pretty explosive when human nature mixes with uranium. I saw uranium being mined. It can be anywhere and practically any color, and anyone might find it. Somebody found this. Beautiful, isn't it? All staked. There was nothing left for me here. I returned to House Rock Valley, looking for my own private big one, not realizing how much I had to learn. Meanwhile, I kept staking claims on any sign of surface reaction, wondering at the same time what I was doing out here. Winter caught me still wondering. Camping out used to be fun 25 years ago. It was hard to believe that only last summer I'd been that other Raymond Taylor, a satisfied, moderately successful businessman, 3 married children, another in college. Once I was settled in my way of life. Here, there wasn't any place to settle. Cheerful thought. This place was beginning to look like a property owners' convention. Finally, I made my first big deal. From the number of papers I had to sign, you'd have thought I was buying the Empire State Building. She wasn't much for looks, but to me, she was home sweet home on wheels. Home. My wife kept writing, asking when I'd return from my vacation. How could I tell her? I didn't know myself. The endless hunt went on. I'd heard that the most likely places to look for uranium in this area were in 3 separate strata. This is the Moenkopi Formation, generally chocolate brown rock. This, the Shinarump, a yellow-gray capstone. and the Chin Lee of poisonous pastel shades. Here nothing grows. Petrified trees from some long-forgotten forest. This one's hot. But in the four corners, everybody has a better rock than yours and a better theory. On paper, they're all millionaires. You can build your monuments and stake your claims, but there's another factor: luck. Ask Budge Porritt about luck. Without even a Geiger counter, he staked claims behind his service station and stands to make a fortune. Ask Blanton Burford about luck. A printer from Dallas, Texas. Burford spent 1 year on the Colorado Plateau and made $4 million in uranium. But Charlie Steen is the big story. A geologist who depended on knowledge and hard work, he hunted uranium where the experts said it wasn't. Today, Steen's holdings are worth more than $100 million. Promoting all this activity is the Atomic Energy Commission. The government needs uranium and helps you to find it. As always, the good old American incentive system works best. For me, there was enough incentive to try to duplicate the feats of a human fly. One afternoon, I managed to lower myself down to a ledge. Getting back up proved quite a problem. There was a lot I had to learn about climbing cliffs. The situation called for a strategic retreat. I spent a lonely night ledged up, waiting till morning to find my way down. That spring, I was still at it, still learning the hard way. I did discover the importance of water, naturally the hard way. Water was such a simple word for something so important. You never really appreciate it till you're without it. I'd been without it enough hours now to know. I guess I must have smelled it. It was, and muddy enough to walk on. But who cared? Suddenly I did. There was something funny here. Must have been the scenery. It was just a little too realistic. The steer couldn't read. I don't remember how much farther I walked, but it was just about all I could take. This time it had to be. A mirage or water. I actually managed to run. It was water, all right. The stuff my dreams had been made of during these last days. Quicksand. The harder I fought, the deeper I went. One dry branch was the only thing between me and eternity. I was still learning the hard way, but learning. Like today, I found another location notice had been substituted for mine. My claim was already on file at the county recorders. It didn't make sense. But the gun did. He suggested I sign a quitclaim. I refused. I figured he was bluffing. Next morning, I had an appointment at 9 o'clock. My friend was late. He'd had an earlier appointment with some unknown gunman. They play for keeps in uranium. The papers called this one the Geiger counter murder. But the fever keeps you going. Then finally, one day I found different looking outcroppings. I tested over a wide area. Still the same. I'd really hit it. I staked a series of claims. I was in business. But the law says you have to prove your find. That costs money. I thought I could raise it. I couldn't. I'd seen development work on other people's claims. Drilling, then probing to determine strength and size of ore deposits. Then comes mining. I couldn't have raised enough money even for drilling, let alone mining operations. For mining, you need heavy equipment, sometimes a lot of it. And unless you have capital to back you, you're just plain out of luck. This is uranium ore, piled up by the acre. The H stands for high grade. Ore that averages 1% uranium is worth around $94 a ton. Ship 10 trucks a day, and with bonuses, you're a millionaire in 60 days. But what I needed was someone to risk that development money. I borrowed from friends and relatives. It wasn't nearly enough. I wrote to all the uranium mining companies. Those that replied said no. I'm sure they got hundreds of letters like mine. I knew the statistics. Out of hundreds of thousands of claims filed, less than 1% become operating mines. These long weeks were my darkest. At 50, I'd used all my savings, borrowed to the limit. Now, with success almost mine, I prayed hard. I kept prospecting, trying to keep my mind off my own frustrations. It looked like a low-flying prospector's plane. Maybe picked up my find on their instruments and coming in for a better look. Well, just about everything else had happened. Somehow it didn't matter anymore. If you're Raymond Taylor, we want to talk to you. But why? Frank Pinio and Lloyd Lyon of Zion Uranium were answering my letters in person. They had money and equipment. I had the claims. We had a deal on a royalty basis. We began the development work, drilling test holes. This was it at last. I was working my own property. It was up to fate now. The probe counter would soon show whether I had a small surface outcropping or a deep vein. We were getting near the payoff now. Then a low reading. But it was there. A large, deep vein, and I'd be a uranium millionaire. A shallow outcropping, and I'd be flat broke. Another victim of uranium fever. One way or another, this would end my story. And to you guys with the fever stirring in your blood, I wish you luck. You'll need it.
So exciting! Holy cow! Alright, so the whole YouTube shutting down because of case of spring fever knocked me out time-wise. I have another film called Car Fever that I showed early in 2020. And I'm going to show it over on my tv.avgeeks.com site. So And I'll also show it on YouTube too. But yeah, maybe go over there, check it out. This is where I'm gonna have my 24/7 channel. So far, so good. There's been minor weird browser behavior, and I'm trying to figure that out. And thank you so much for giving me that feedback in the comments over there. Don't do it here on YouTube because sometimes I'll miss it. But yeah, I've been adding features over there, so you can like things, you can put emojis. I don't think we're going to do GIFs in the comments because that's just this extra layer that makes things more difficult. But yeah. Anyways, so I'm going to turn off the Twitch output. And so here's something as well. If YouTube does cancel a stream, this 24/7 streaming thing, right now I can't accommodate live because I do live streaming via YouTube. So if YouTube cancels it, it cancels it over on the site. But I am doing research to see if I can have a plan B in place to where I can just stream. And then that might be something, some of you have said like, oh, it'd be great if you had a AV Geeks After Dark where we show some stuff that has a little bit more adult material that wouldn't be appropriate for YouTube. So I'm investigating that to see if there's a way that I can do broadcast via that, and it wouldn't be on YouTube. It would only be on this tv.avgeeks.com site. So join me over there. Thanks. But I will still be running here too. So if you don't have the means to do that, that's fine. But here is Car Fever, and this is about 30 minutes long, so we're going to run late. But thanks everybody for watching. Enjoy.
See if you can pry Carl away from that four-wheeled monster so he'll come in and eat. I've called him 3 times.
Okay, dear. He's really in a world all his own when he starts working on that car.
He's going to wear it out taking it apart and putting it together again. I thought he had it running perfectly.
Betty, half the fun of owning your first car is working on it and trying to get it run better. You go on and put the food on. I'll bring him in. Okay, Carl, let's get going. Supper's ready. Your mother's getting impatient. I'm getting hungry.
I'm sorry, Dad. I wanted to finish this before I came in, but I guess it's a bigger job than I figured.
Well, frankly, when you bought this wreck, I didn't figure you'd ever get it going under its own power again.
Oh, man, I'm gonna have one of the greatest cars in Central High. Just wait till I finish with this.
Well, your mother's gonna be finished with us if we don't get going. Let's go, son. Thank you.
You better hurry, dear. You're going to be late for church.
I'm not going tonight, Mom.
Isn't there a youth group meeting?
Well, yes, but see, I've got to finish rebuilding my carburetor before I can go anywhere.
Well, you were getting to church every Sunday night long before you ever thought of owning an automobile.
And besides, aren't you secretary?
Well, not because I want to be. It's a girl's job.
It's your job. You were elected.
Well, somebody else can take minutes tonight. I've got to finish that carburetor. Besides, I have to work tomorrow after school and then study tomorrow night.
And last night you just had to drive over to Joe's.
Well, Dad,
And besides, it seems to me you missed last week's meeting, too.
Oh, Mother, it's not going to ruin my life just to miss a couple of Sunday night meetings.
Of course not, son. But the church and everything it stands for has always been important to our family. Now, if you're too busy for church, maybe you better consider giving something up, like your job after school.
Well, if I quit that, how would I earn enough to keep my car up?
That's a good question. When your mother and I gave you permission to buy a car, we didn't think it would take quite so much money or so much of your time either. We want to be sure that you have enough time for the things that really count.
Okay, Dad. Look, this will be the last time I'll skip the youth meeting, I promise. But I've just got to get that carburetor finished up tonight.
Well, all right. But after tonight, first things first. Enough said?
Sure. And thanks.
Look, Carl, when you finish that tire, I've got a grease job for you.
Okay, Dave. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Hey, you missed a swell meeting last night.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Larry. Look, did somebody get the minutes okay?
Oh, yeah, Ruth took some notes for you.
I'll be there next time.
Yeah, we had a real good talk from a missionary. He sure gives you something to think about. And I never thought of it that way before. I mean, the way he put it. He says there's a difference between what we think we need and what we really do need.
Well, I think I know what I need. New fuel pump. I got stalled on the way to school this morning.
Oh, well, we got one in stock.
Not till payday. Unless maybe you're giving them away for free.
You too, huh? Yeah, I need new points and plugs, but I gotta wait.
Well, another week or so here and I'll have the money. Oh, wait till you see what I'm going to do to my car.
Hi, Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Hi,
Carl.
Carl.
How you doing? How are you?
Hey, we missed you last night.
Yeah, what gives, pal?
What is this, agreements committee?
No, but it's not a bad idea. Oh, here are the notes I took for you.
Yeah, I was just telling him what he missed.
I'll be there next Sunday.
Well, really, what we stopped by for is to remind you of our executive committee meeting Wednesday night.
We're meeting at the church. We're wondering if you're going to be there.
Wednesday? Well, yeah, I guess so.
And you will get those minutes written up.
Oh, don't worry, I'll have them. I've just been busy.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, does this dime store have a wolf whistle that'll work on my heap? I don't seem to be getting any results.
Yeah, I can understand why. That thing wouldn't even be a good moose call.
Well, anyway, what's the matter with Sue?
Oh, her mother corralled her for a shopping tour. What's going on?
We're just talking. Hey, how are the racing cams working?
Oh, great. Hop in. I'll give you a demonstration of what a real rocket feels like.
Okay. How about giving Ruth and me a lift down to the church?
The church? Well, what gives? This is Monday.
We're getting out the announcements for next week's meeting.
You know, you kids are wasting postage mailing those things to me every week. Why don't you lay off?
Because maybe someday you'll realize we mean it.
Come on, let's go. Oh, I'll stop by tomorrow and see about that whistle.
Hey, listen, why don't you drop by the house tonight?
Yeah, I got something I want to talk to you about anyway. Right after supper?
Good.
Okay, let's go.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Carl, maybe you're the one that ought to get him in our youth group.
No chance. He's got his own ideas.
No, that's all the more reason we ought to get him in the group.
Well, I gotta finish this job.
I'd be glad to advance you some money for an emergency, but
Dad, I'll pay you back next week when Dave pays me my check.
that's not the point. Everything you make and everything you're going to make next week you want to spend on this car. You just can't do it. You've got other responsibilities, too. I understand how you feel. I remember when I had my first car. but you just can't let it completely take over your life.
I know, Dad.
And I guess I don't have to remind you that you've been forgetting the chores around the house.
Look, I'll get to them tonight.
And what about your studies? You haven't been hitting the books very strongly.
I know. Look, I'll be right in.
Hi. Joe.
Hi, Joe. See you in the house, son.
Carl, you know Sue, don't you?
Oh, sure. Hi, Sue.
Hi.
Hop in. I'll show you how the new cams work.
Oh, I'd like to, but, well, I'm kind of in a jam. I've got chores and stuff.
Maybe that's not all you're in a jam about.
What does that mean?
I was going to tell you this afternoon at the shop. I got called into the grade counselor today.
You aren't flunking.
Nah, they just like to beat me over the head every so often. Gives them something to do. But while I was there, I saw something on the desk.
Oh, yeah? What?
Your name and your records.
Oh, no kidding.
So don't be surprised if you get called in, too.
Wow, that's all I need. If my folks thought that my grades were slipping...
I'll relax. Maybe it's nothing. Come on, I'll run you around the block.
Sure. Come on, Carl.
Why, I told my dad I'd be right in.
A little fresh air and you'll study better. Let's go.
Besides, the way you look, your dad will be wondering what's bugging you.
Okay.
Arthur. There he goes again.
And after our talk with him about first things first.
What's happened to him? He's changing so. He's always been pretty sensible about everything. Ever since he got that car, he's...
Well, if I wanted to make light of it, I'd say he had car fever. But I don't feel like joking about it when I see him completely losing his perspective. His Christian convictions are certainly being tested. And right now, he's really flunking.
And after paying all our bills, we have $52.06 left in the treasury. Of course, $20 of this is still earmarked for the next payment on the missions pledge.
That's a fine report, Ruth.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I guess that about winds it up for tonight, except for the minutes, which Carl didn't have.
I just didn't seem to have the time. But I'll have them all up to date next meeting.
Did you have anything more, Bob?
Oh, yeah, there is one more thing we have to take care of before we go. I got a phone call from Mary Kent this afternoon. She's supposed to leave the meeting Sunday night. She's going to be out of town. So it looks like one of you will have to pinch hit for her. How about you, Larry? Or you, Pete?
Well, maybe Larry and I could work out something together, huh, Larry?
Yeah, fine.
Carl, you want to help us?
Really, I'm just too busy. You know, working after school and working on my car.
You know what? Since you fellas are so wrapped up in your cars and you spend so much time on them, why don't we use that for a discussion topic for next Sunday's meeting? How to own a car and still be a Christian, or something like that.
Say, now, I think Ruth has an idea there. Yeah. How about that? Just stop and think of it. Take Joe Kane, for instance.
Well, yeah, and Sue Taft. From what she's told me, a car can be a problem in more ways than one.
And how do you talk about church and being a Christian to kids like that? I mean, about the only thing Joe ever listens to anymore is the sound of his motor. How do we compete?
Well, I was reading the other day where a survey showed that when fellas in their junior year got cars, the majority of them developed lower or failing grades.
Wow, I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad.
Well, doesn't that depend on the kid? I mean, maybe these people were poor students in the first place.
The same article mentioned that a number of parents groups put their foot down and said they would no longer allow their children to own automobiles while they're still in high school.
Well, that sounds kind of rough.
Well, you have to admit that when a teenager gets a car, something happens. They become a lot more mobile, for one thing. They run around a lot, let things slide, and they spend a lot of money on their cars.
Yeah, well, you know, a car gives a fellow a feeling of real independence. You know, having your own set of wheels and that.
Well, that's true, but Look, when kids spend practically all they earn in their part-time jobs just to keep the car going, well, they're probably spending more than their money and time will allow.
It costs a lot to put a car in good shape.
Oh, you said it.
Yeah, but what about the pressures around school? You know, a kid is just a nobody unless he has his own car.
That's a good point. But really, the best way to be a somebody is to be the best somebody that God wants you to be. That's why this whole business of cars is so important. Having a car isn't a sin, but if having a car causes a person to neglect his own spiritual growth, and, well, look, you can see a crumpled fender, right? But you can't always see the damage done to a person's spiritual life by overdoing it with a car or anything else. But the damage is there, nevertheless.
Well, I think we have our discussion topic for next Sunday. Bob, why don't you bring in some of those things you mentioned here tonight? And Larry, you and I will have to get together and work out some good discussion questions. And Ruth, why don't you plan the worship? I was thinking maybe we could plan a panel discussion, or how about setting up a mock trial, or well, we'll have to work on it. And now, unless there's something else, I guess that about wraps it up for tonight.
Fine.
Good night, Bob.
Good night. Good night. Carl, could I see you for a minute?
Good night. Sure.
Good night, Larry. Carl, there was nothing personal tonight in those remarks I made about teenagers and cars, but I couldn't help but notice you seemed a bit, well, uncomfortable. You're not getting yourself in a jam with your car, are you?
Nothing I can't handle.
You know, Carl, you have changed in some ways since you got your car.
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, it's hard to be specific, but, well, take the minutes, for instance. For the last 4 meetings, we haven't had our minutes written up. Oh, I don't mean to imply that attending meetings and keeping minutes up to date are all there is to being a Christian, far from it. But it could be an indication of something.
You know, I have been busy.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound as though I'm bugging you. But I just don't want that car to prevent you from becoming the best person that God wants you to become. It's you I'm interested in, Carl, not the car. See, when a fellow begins to drift away from his commitment to Christ, he's in real danger of cutting himself off from the Holy Spirit, from fellowship with God. It gives him strength to live day by day the way God wants him to live. From spiritual strength to choose the right things. From Christian friends to back him up.
Sure is slow around here today.
Yeah.
Hey, Carl.
Uh-huh.
What's eating you?
Nothing.
Oh, come on, level with me. I mean, the way you acted at the meeting last night and here today, I mean, you're just not yourself, old buddy. Is there something I can do?
Thanks, Larry, but there's nothing you can do.
Well, something is wrong, though.
Yeah. Counselor is sending a note home to my parents about my grades. I've been trying to figure out what to do when they get the bad news.
Oh, well, you always got good grades.
I did until now. I guess I just haven't been hitting the books enough. Boy, when my folks find out.
Well, you do have something to worry about.
Yeah.
Is there, any way I could help? I mean, we could get together and study or something.
Oh, thanks, Larry, but that won't help me now.
Naturally, we're disappointed that you've neglected your studies like this and let your grades take such a tumble. But I think we're even more disappointed that you didn't come to us and tell us about this in the first place.
I didn't think it was really that serious. I mean, it's only temporary. I'll get my grades back up.
But, Carl, this is your senior year. You know how important it is. All your plans for college and everything, you can't just throw that out the window.
Don't worry. I mean, I'll work everything out. I guess I just haven't been trying hard enough. I mean, anybody slips up occasionally. You know, I'm not the only one who got a note to send home. It happened to a lot of other kids.
We're not the parents of a lot of other kids, but we are responsible for you. Now, what do you plan to do about this? How are you going to build these grades back up again?
I'll work out something. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Can I go now?
I think we'd better be a little more specific than that, son.
Well, I could be studying.
This is more important than studying right now. Sit down. Do you think it's your car?
You know, you make it sound as if the car is to blame for everything. I mean, I really think you're making too big a deal out of this whole thing. What do you want me to do, go back to riding a bicycle?
That might be better than walking.
What do you mean?
I'm afraid you're not going to have a choice between a bicycle and a car. Your choice is going to be between a bicycle and walking.
What about my car?
The car stays in the garage for a while.
You mean... I'm grounded.
The car is. I'm sorry, son, but I'm afraid it's going to have to stay there until you can prove to us that you understand the responsibilities of owning an automobile.
Yes? Oh, no, Carl's not sick. He's in school. Are you sure? Yes. Yes, I will. Of course I will. This is Mrs. Burdick. May I speak with my husband, please? Yes, I'll wait. Arthur, the attendance clerk just called, and Carl is not in school. His car? No, I haven't looked, but you don't think he'd... Well, all right. Hang on just a minute. I'll look.
I'm sorry, Mr. Burdick, but I don't know where Carl could be. I mean, I was surprised when he didn't show up to school today.
Well, I figured maybe he'd have to stay after school when he didn't show up for work.
Well, I thought maybe you might have heard from him. It's not like Carl to go off like this without letting someone know where he is. I know he was pretty well upset last night when we had to ground him, but I really didn't think he'd go to this extreme.
Well, maybe he's off someplace by himself trying to figure things out.
Maybe so. Well, if you hear anything, I'd certainly appreciate it if you give me a call.
Oh, sure. We'll let you know right away.
Yeah, we sure will.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Mr. Burdick. Now, what do you suppose that kid's gone and done?
Huh?
Auto Center. Carl, where in the world are you?
I'm calling from Webster Junction.
What are you doing out there? Everybody's looking for you.
My fuel pump gave out. Is there any chance you can send out a new one with someone? Maybe with Joe Keane. He said he was going to stop by after school. You can take it out of what I got coming.
I ought to take it out of your hide. Your folks are worried sick. What are you trying to prove?
I'm not trying to prove anything. I just had to have some fresh air. Well, how about it? Can you send out a pump with Joe?
Well, all right. I'll send out some help. Sit tight. Larry.
All right, try it out, Carl. Thanks a lot, Larry. I appreciate the help. Sure. What are you going to do now? I don't know.
Remember when I had my car in the backyard all last June working on it?
Yeah?
Well, that was just an excuse. My parents had grounded me.
You're kidding.
No, they lowered the boom. I didn't want anybody else to know.
Well, why did they do it?
Well, they thought I was heading for trouble, and, well, you remember how I tore around when I first got my car?
Yeah, you were really making history.
I was also making a first-class jerk out of myself. I thought that having my own set of wheels automatically made a big man out of me, and nothing else really mattered. I wanted so bad to be somebody that I forgot just about everything else. Well, my parents tried to show me how the car was getting in the way of a lot of other things, but I couldn't see it. So they took away my driving privileges, so I'd have to think about it.
Well, why is it that you never told anybody?
Well, I wasn't exactly proud of myself, especially when I realized what I'd actually been doing. I was putting the car at the center of my life, making it more important than anything else, even more important than my commitment to Christ.
I guess that's what Bob Hall was trying to tell me the other night at church.
Well, I had to learn the hard way. It happens all the time to lots of kids, and I guess that's one of our biggest temptations, is just not putting first things first. Frankly, I'm glad my parents lowered the boom on me, and I think you should be glad your parents did it too.
What do you suppose is keeping him? Why doesn't he come home?
It's probably taking them longer than they figured putting in that fuel pump.
What are we going to say to him when he does come back?
That depends a lot on Carl himself. Well, son?
I'm sorry. You better keep these for a while. I guess I have some more growing up to do.
Son, you're well on your way to becoming a man when you can admit that.
I guess it's never easy to admit you've been wrong.
No, it's not, boy. That's another mark of maturity.
I just don't know how I got so turned around. How do you figure a guy who's been raised in a Christian home where Christ has always been put first, suddenly letting other things become so much more important?
Oh, Carl.
It's okay now, Mom. I think I'm getting things back into focus.
These car keys, when do you think I should give them back?
I guess we'd better wait till I get a few things straightened out. At school, at church, with my friends, and with myself.
That was totally Mrs. Olsen. Virginia Christine, the actress, who did lots of Folgers commercials. Although she has an accent. We don't know where she's from, but it's somewhere that has mountains, because she understands that coffee is mountain grown. Yeah, that was a Family Films, those short little 30-minute dramas, picking on teenagers, and, you know, for the first time, Carl was interested in something, really interested in something. His parents just crushed him. That's the thing. Anyhow, if you are in the Raleigh-Durham area and you're not doing anything at 10 o'clock tonight, they'll be showing at the Alamo Draft House in Raleigh, they'll be showing Hell's Highways, which is a wonderful documentary about the Highway Safety Films company that made all those really gory Ohio driver's ed films. Signal 30, Wheels of Tragedy, Mechanized Death, etc., etc., and their sordid history in Mansfield, Ohio. It's a really fascinating story. Documentary came out, it was made by Brett Wood, who is one of the major people behind Kino, and we worked together on a set of AV Geeks DVDs, and he's really swell. And I helped him with this recent new version, which is, he updated it and made the footage look better. Like, we scanned our copies of the films for him, and so it features a lot of people. My mentor Rick Prellinger is in it, and other folks are in it talking about it. So that's tonight's Weird Wednesday at the Alamo Draft House. The film is also kind of making the rounds to a lot of art cinemas, so keep an eye out. It's a really great film, and it will probably, after this, it will probably be distributed so where you can see it streaming. But yeah, you should see it in person if you can. Yeah, thanks Kevin for reminding me. I always forget that to promote the shows that I'm doing live, and that's what I'm doing live. Anyways, if I don't see you tonight, I will see you tomorrow. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'm gonna, so at tv.avgeeks.com, some of you went over there, and so I'm gonna switch over to regularly scheduled